My name is Win. I was born and raised in Nebraska, and my life changed forever when I put on a pair of high heel boots and backpacked for the first time as Patagonia. Patagonia is an environmental advocate drag queen. And if you're wondering what that is, I am too. This whole world is new to me, if you can't tell. This is a disaster. Thankfully though, I am not starting these trails alone. You're making such a huge difference. And I think that it's just so cool that you're an ally to kids in your school and that you guys are an ally every day of your life. This is beautiful!
Yes!
Wait, are
Unreal.
you freaking kidding?
Yeah. So, beautiful paradise. Boom,
It's literally
boom,
right
boom. You look down,
Literally.
right at your toes, and what do you find, dude? Like, what is this?
This is literally all plastic.
I know.
This is crazy.
It's nuts. Some of this stuff
What even is this?
is so brittle too.
Yeah.
And it's just the sun, the wind, the water, all of the elements until it's just like,
It's so tiny.
just
like,
degrades.
look at this.
I know.
This is unreal.
Yeah.
Unreal. It's millions of pieces.
Completely. And it goes on for miles and miles. It's so important to see this. We have a problem with plastic.
The whole entire beach for miles, as far as I could see, it is a line we are writing as humans, literally in the sand, that we don't care. It's so crazy to me. Like, I used to spend so much time outdoors. I spent my childhood outdoors, but yet I don't think I thought about caring about the world or about Mother Nature at all. Patty is synonymous in my life with learning and unlearning. The experience of looking in the mirror and seeing the opposite gender was so powerful for me because it checked at the door every single thing I thought I knew about myself and every single thing I thought about the world around me. And realizing that I don't know crap about the world. Like, I have so much left to learn. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Project Human Nature, a Pela-Powered speaker series where we turn dialogue into action, creating a sustainable future for all. I am your host, Patricia Gonia, and today I am serving you a lesbian Los Angeles mother on the way to her son's high school soccer banquet realness, and I am so excited to be here. To quote Black environmentalist Mary Hegler, the thing about climate is we can be overwhelmed with the complexity of the problems, or we can fall in love with the creativity of the solutions. So today, in the second season of Project Human Nature, we will be talking with leaders in sustainability about their unique journeys, getting to the forefront of change, and using their creativity as a unique solution. But before we get started, this is the most important part. I want to see everyone dropping their name, their pronouns, and their location in the chat. You are a part of this global discussion. So let's use this power hour together to really talk. And let's get this party started. Pop off in the chat. Let's start flooding the chat with your questions for the speakers. What's really cool about this event is that the Pela team will be pulling some of these as we go. So your questions, your comments will be read not only by the speakers and by me, but will be popped in to ask the speakers as well. And we'll even be dropping in discount codes in the chat throughout the event. First come, first serve. So keep your eyes peeled and let's get started. Our first speaker is an innovator who saw the plastic problem and created a unique solution. He's going to talk to us today about turning your dreams into a reality. But before we do, let's get to know him a little bit better. Introducing the founder of Pela himself, Jeremy Lang.
We started with the idea of Pela and creating a compostable and biodegradable phone case from natural resources and from other waste materials.
We were on vacation in Kauai. My son was a year and a half at the time, and we were digging in the sand on the secluded beach, and there were little pieces of plastic everywhere.
Pela is the world's first compostable phone case, which sounds kind of silly when you say it out loud. It's like, why would you want a phone case to compost?
But then the idea that the average person keeps their phone for 18 to 24 months, yet the phone case is made from a non-renewable resource that can last for hundreds or thousands of years.
We know that it's difficult to make the kind of change that we want to see.
Our customers are leaders. They're making a choice. They're choosing a sustainable product over a non-sustainable product. So that takes a lot of courage for them to make that change and believe in us.
Community is our first core value, because you can't do what we're trying to do without a very large and loud community. They believe fully in this mission of less waste, like let's consume better. For us, we now look at Pela and we say, okay, we have a great community, they support us, we support them. How do we now turn Pela into a platform that they can stand on? And how do we give them the story to tell?
If at the very least, someone sees a phone case and it starts a conversation, maybe it inspires someone to do something great for the world, great for the environment. I want to see a future where we make things smarter. We have the technology to make products more sustainable.
Like, what if the oceans had no plastic in them? What if they were just waste-free? What could it look like is way more interesting to me than just imagining this perfect future.
Make it so it has a graceful end of life, so it doesn't last for hundreds of thousands of years. It'll go back to the soil, so you can grow more plants, create more products, and complete the cycle.
Jeremy!
Hey, Patty.
How's it going?
Good, how are you?
It's so great to be here with you today. I'm so excited to dive into this discussion about turning your dreams into reality, possibly starting a business. You know, I think a lot of our viewers here are really interested in possibly pursuing starting businesses themselves. So I'm super excited to talk to you today. It's going to be awesome.
Yes.
Heck yes. I mean, to kick things off, I hear that you wear two hats at Pela. You're not only the founder first and foremost, but you're also the vice president of sustainability. So what does that really mean? Like, what does it actually look like to wear both of those hats at Pela?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think, a main theme of ours is we believe in better, we're not perfect. So we're always looking at how can we make our products better? How can we make our materials better? How can we be more environmentally sustainable? How can we be more socially sustainable? So we look at all those aspects, different materials, different products. We look at our footprint. How can we improve our carbon footprint? Like, we measure it. What is it? Now, how can we make it better? We look at, just different partnering with different organizations that are for-purpose organizations. So who can we partner with and who can we work with to really move the needle on things? So it's constantly looking at just making things better on all aspects of our front or all aspects of our business. So
I love that. I love that. I love that. I like to affectionately call myself like an ally in progress for this planet. And I think that very much mirrors that. It's about progress, not perfection, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
It's really beautiful. Thanks for sharing that. I mean, I think that as you mentioned in the kind of the intro video, we see plastic waste every day, but what was that moment with your son on the beach what was that time that changed everything for you?
Yeah. Well, it started a little bit before, about a year before that time on the beach. So I always had wanted to start a company. And then I got a degree, started working for another company, and worked for a company for 7 years. But there was a voice in my head, like, start a company, just do it already. And I got sick of that voice in my head. So finally, one day I just said, I'm just going to start a company. I'm going to call it Open Mind Developments. So to look at things with an open mind for a different view. It's from Metallica song. And start looking for problems to solve. How can we make things better? So then within a year, we were on vacation in Kauai. So this is 2008, and reminded me of the video that was just played at the beginning, but digging in the sand and there are little pieces of plastic everywhere. And it bothered me. I was like, who is littering? Like, why would you litter on this beautiful beach? And why does my son have to dig in someone else's litter? I didn't have to do that. So when we got back, I just learned about the Pacific Gyre, and it was coming from all of us. So wanted to find a solution to make things better. And how can we make plastic products more sustainable? And that's kind of how it went from there. But it all started with the feeling that I had in my gut that got me going.
Totally. I love that you mentioned that, because I think that what all of our unique environmental solutions have to come from is our heart and our identity and what makes us uniquely who we are and the experiences that we have. And I love that you use that firsthand experience too with your family to really motivate you to make that change. I think that nothing can replace feeling that connection. So that's awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that. Mm-hmm. I wonder, what would you say to someone who's identified a problem that fires them up, but has no idea how to find or create that solution? How do people start?
Yeah. Well, you just start. But I mean, that's the hardest step. It's like taking a run. What's the hardest step? usually the first step, or going to the gym or whatever, doing something hard. But I always think of the saying, to get to the top of the stairs, you don't need to see every stair. So set your goal, set your mission. You just need to see the next one and the next one, and you keep going. So if you have a solution and you don't know what to do and you're stuck, but you have an idea, go talk to someone, pick up the phone, find a partner, find a teammate, join an organization. So I think it's just take those steps and keep moving forward towards that, towards your goal and what you want to do.
That's awesome. Yeah, little things add up over time, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, it's I think of the metaphor in my life of like, I walk in these 6-inch high heels outdoors, and it's like, if I was gonna climb a mountain in them, it's one foot after the other, and yeah, I'm gonna stumble and fall and like take some missteps, but get back up, keep on going. Little things add up to climbing a mountaintop. So
exactly, fall down 7 times, get up 8, right?
Yeah, yes. So why start with phone cases?
Yeah, well, so that's a big problem. So when you think about the average person keeps their phone for 2 years, yet the case to protect it will last for hundreds or thousands of years, and it can't be recycled. Like, that's just ridiculous. So starting with that problem, and then it was just, kind of made sense that, it was a simple product. It had pretty good margins, so we could put more money into our materials, and we could put it in the mail and find our audience and ship it to our customers around the world and grow our brand that way. So those were some of the main things. And then also wanted to have, a product that had some emotion behind it. So like what Starbucks did to coffee, it's more than a cup of coffee. It's how you feel. We wanted to, people feel proud of their products, proud that they're making a difference, maybe inspire other people to make a difference. You put it on the table and start talking about it and just talk about ways to be more sustainable. So that was why it was kind of the perfect product for us to start with.
I love that. And I also love really that like your phone cases allow you as a company to hire designers to work with other artists to really create ways for people to show their personalities and pieces of their identity, no matter how they identify. I think it's really neat.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, no, it's exciting to work with like-minded people. That's one of the most rewarding things about having a mission-based company and being in the sustainability space, is that we have the opportunity to meet awesome people like you and our teammates that we attract, and the clients who we work for, and the retailers, just people around the world who we're talking with, who all have similar goals and values. It almost seems like that person. So it's really exciting for us.
Totally. I think a follow-up question I have for you though is like, okay, so you've created this case, you've created a really unique solution to the plastic issue with phone cases. So how do you continue to stay motivated?
I think if you set a North Star, or where you want to go and what you want to accomplish, that's near and dear to your heart, that's something that you really believe in, you're going to keep going. Like, there were times when it was tough, when never thought that we would stop, but always figured that, we'll keep going. We'll just keep going on that path and figure out a way. So it's really key to get a close, set the mission to something you believe in, because it's going to keep you going. Things are going to be tough, and you need that to keep you going. Totally.
Yeah. And like on top of that too, I think that like we are all so much more naturally creative than we think we are. And I think that, I don't know, when I look at a person like you, when I look at the people that work at Pela, it's really about using your creativity in unique ways to kind of like keep on outdoing yourselves, be like, okay, we reached here. And progress is not linear. For sure, you can like hit some home runs, and then for sure, like miss some bat hits. I'm a drag queen. I don't know sports metaphors, but you can like do some good things, and you can like not succeed sometimes, but eventually too, you're going to start kind of outdoing yourself. And I think that that's really beautiful.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to attempt to not use sports metaphors.
No, that's great.
Here we are. But you have a huge goal here, 1 billion pounds of waste by 2028. How are you planning on getting there?
Yeah, so we like to think we get by with a little help from our friends. So we can't do it alone. We have to get partners, and we got to get more products or different systems to make it work. So, but the neat part, and you talked about it being creative. I think as humans, we are all creative, like naturally. That's how we survived. We had to be creative, right? So when you set a big problem, the opportunity is in the obstacle. So the bigger the problem, the bigger the opportunity is. So we look at it that way. We set 1 billion pounds of waste as a goal. So we started with phone cases and plastic waste, but as we started to open up like man, how are we going to get to 1 billion pounds? We started looking at, well, food waste, that's very wasteful, one of the most wasteful things. And we developed a new product called Lomi to handle food waste. But I think the key is to set big goals, right? Aim for the moon, and if you miss, you're among the stars. And you just keep going and you attract like-minded people. That's the exciting part.
Totally. I love that you mentioned that. I mean, did you do it all when you first started, or like making cases and everything? Or like, what are some of your words of advice you could give to someone starting a small business?
Yeah. So once you've started, the first team is your family. So you work with your family. And, but I mean, the biggest change for me came from when it went from I've got this to we've got this. So found my partners who had believed in what I was doing, but that was the power of teams, and then start building the team out from there, and just having the confidence to, work for each other and set the goals and clarify the mission. So, it's really thinking about team and people who complement your skills. So I really encourage people to look on your personal strengths and your weaknesses, and what are you good at, and what do you need help with, and find those people who complement each other's skills. And it's like I said, putting together a good team. I'm going to the sports analogies, but like the best forwards, the best defensemen, all that stuff. So yeah.
I thank you for continuing the sports metaphor for me. Yeah, I mean, I think that speaks so much to what I do too. I cannot make dresses to save my life, but I can work with and collaborate with incredible other creators that are so good at what they're good at. And together we can almost build this transformer of environmental energy to go out into the world and really make an impact together. So I love that you mentioned that. I think teamwork is so important. Collaboration is so important. And you can embrace who you are, and you can embrace who other people are, find your authentic selves, and really succeed together. So I love that you mentioned that. Okay, now we're going to answer some questions from the audience. This is super exciting. We have some coming in from Michelle Koo. They are asking, Jeremy, do you have a background in environmental science before you got started?
Yeah, I do actually. So I have a Bachelor of Science in Agriculture, and I actually worked as an environmental consultant for 17 years. And I did this on the side for 10 years almost. So another thing, if you have an idea and you have times in the evenings and time in the morning and time on the weekends, you can always do a full-time job and pick away at it until there's time. And those little things, like you said, Patty, they add up over time. It's the compound effect. So just keep going. Can be done.
Totally. And isn't it kind of crazy how your life is a setup for your life, each step that you take, and you can take things from multiple different worlds and combine them,
Yeah.
I love that you have a background in that stuff. We have a question from Care Bear Rules 333. How are your cases made compostable? Where and how are you sourcing your materials?
Yeah, so we source our materials from Canada and North America, and it's just the chemistry, the way they're made, the way we mix them together makes it so the microorganisms can eat them, and they won't last for hundreds or thousands of years. They'll break down in composting environments. So that's the short answer.
That is awesome. Well, thank you, audience, for asking questions. Keep them coming with the next speakers. And thank you, Jeremy, so much for joining us. That is our time. But I wanted to remind everyone here that by attending Project Human Nature and being a part of these discussions, you're already heading in the right direction towards creating a better world together. This event is brought to you by Pela, who's leading the way in sustainability by creating everyday products without waste. And their latest is the most successful environmental project in crowdfunding history. So we're going to say goodbye to Jeremy, and we're going to say hello to Lomi. Thank you so much, Jeremy.
Thanks, Patty. Talk to you later.
What if changing the world was as easy as pushing a button? Hey, I'm Matt from Pela, and I want to introduce you to my friend Lomi. At Pela, we're a team of engineers and material scientists, and for the last 3 years, we've been creating something truly special, a solution to the world's garbage problem. Now, before I show you how Lomi is going to change the world, let's talk about why you're going to want one in your home today. Maybe you live in a big city and have a green bin program. You know, those little plastic bins with leaky bags under your sink that are amazing at producing smelly, gross liquid sludge that nobody wants to touch. Raccoons, anybody? Or maybe you don't have a green bin system where you live, and instead, you throw all your food waste into the garbage, which then goes to a landfill, which produces methane, which causes climate change, all while still smelling pretty terrible. Lomi makes your life so much easier. Lomi can compost your food waste, that pesky packaging from your online shopping habit, and even biodegradable plastics. Yep, Lomi even works on Pela's compostable phone cases, all at the push of a button. And as little as a few hours later, your waste has turned into the start of nutrient-rich compost, totally mess-free and odor-neutralized. You probably know us at Pela as the inventors of the world's first compostable phone case. Pela's customers have eliminated more than 41.8 million plastic bags worth of garbage in the last 5 years. To create Lomi, we've spent over 3 years completing more than 1,000 compost tests and endless hours of design and prototyping. Lomi isn't just beautifully designed, it is the world's best home composter, period. Food waste creates 330 billion pounds of garbage in North America each year. Packaging and plastic represent even more garbage and add that number up even higher. Lomi makes food waste a thing of the past and helps you cut up to half of your carbon footprint, all while making odor-neutralized, mess-free compost that you can feed your plants, toss in your garden, send it to the green bin, or put it in the garbage. Together, we can do something that politicians and big businesses can't seem to take any action on, actually helping the planet. We can make trash a thing of the past. Back our project today, and you'll help us bring Lomi to life.
It's time to ditch your gross plastic phone case collection. Introducing Pela, the softest case you'll ever hold. Drop-proof, scratch-proof, and made from plants.
It literally protects my phone and the planet.
Go to pelacase.com to learn more.
Welcome back, everyone. And lucky us, our next speaker is a 2-for-1 and comes as a duo. Our change makers turned their environmental individual passions into collective impact with their successful social media account. Let's get to know Tim and Jolene. Welcome back.
Hi, I'm Tim.
I'm Jolene.
And we created Impact.
Impact is a digital platform for young people to learn about current events and stay on top of issues that matter to them. We help individuals take collective action through donation links, petitions, and the power of virality.
I first got into digital activism through my meme account, actually. 3.14 something something something, has almost 5 billion followers there. I shared my experiences of coming out and the mental health struggles that came with that, and I received tons of great feedback and comments regarding that. So I wanted to continue that activism and started other social justice platforms like activism and stuff, and now focusing full-time on Impact.
I've spent a lot of time working with grassroots organizations working in social justice, racial justice, and environmental rights, and through that I saw that the individual really has so much power to take collective action. With Impact, there is massive reach and opportunity for all of these individuals who care a lot about the world to go out and take action.
As a queer person of color, I never saw myself represented in traditional media, so I wanted to create a platform that really highlighted the diversity of our generation and tackled these really critical issues, doing it in a really accessible and easy to understand manner.
With that, we really care about making everything that we do really engaging and highly accessible. And my experience designing for nonprofits custom technology has showed me that it's really important to use empathy and be listening to people from all of these diverse audiences when building a platform that is accessible for everyone.
I am geeking now. I am so excited to meet you both. It's so good to see your faces. How are you?
We are so excited to be here. Thanks for having us.
Yes. I have followed your Instagram account for so long, and it's just so cool to see your faces. Okay, let's dive into this conversation. I'm gonna finish geeking out over here. But hi, Tim and Jolene. It's great to see you both. How did you both get into this? Even before your Instagram account, did you always have a platform? Really excited to hear.
Yeah. So I've been on Instagram for a while now. When I was 13, I started a One Direction fan page, actually. So I had no friends because I was really gay and no one liked me. So I spent a lot of my time building a One Direction fan page. And then that kind of just turned into doing a lot of different things on Instagram community, building my meme account 3.14, and now building activism and stuff, my other social justice platform, and Impact. So it's weird how my passion for One Direction and social media turned into what Impact is now, which is kind of crazy. Yeah.
is so awesome. I love that it all started with One Direction. Thank you, Wendy.
Thank you.
How do y'all know how to stay informed and what to post about?
Yeah, I would say that while it's us two here, it's just really our diverse team behind us that we accredit so much of our content to. So we're just two people. We have our own perspectives.
Yes.
But we care so much about building a diverse team. So we have like a really young team in different colleges and universities all over the world that have these perspectives and issues that lend us this kind of intersectional lens towards like different issues that are happening. So it's really, we accredit all of our knowledge. Like we definitely do not know it all.
Yeah,
but
not at all.
Not at all. And we're learning from our contributors and our team every day. And it's just really awesome to be part of this community.
Yeah.
Jolene, I love that you mentioned that because I think that in my life too, following like a diverse group of activists from so many different lenses and backgrounds and perspectives and identities really helps me to get like a well-sided perspective on so many issues and oftentimes to see things that I would have never seen before or thought of before. So I think that no matter who people are, they can follow diverse voices and follow accounts like yours because you are also highlighting so many incredible different co-authors and contributors and again, collaborating just like we talked about with Jeremy. So I think that's kick-ass. What issues are important and most important to y'all?
Yeah, so for me personally, just like growing up as a queer person, like in the intro video, I struggled a lot with mental health, depressive thoughts, suicidal thoughts, and it's really important for me to support LGBTQ youth. Actually, for next month, we're doing like some fun fundraising stuff and a lot of content relating to that. So we're excited. So if anyone wants to follow us, do so, and you'll see that content. How about you, Jillian?
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. But as I mentioned earlier, I think it's kind of like really passionate about providing this like lens for these communities that don't necessarily have their voices heard. So with this kind of like huge platform, I feel like it's just like such an awesome responsibility to be able to uplift different voices from communities that maybe you don't hear about in like everyday life.
Yeah, totally. And why Pela? Why is environmentalism important to both of y'all? Like, kind of tell me through your environmental lenses. Would love to hear some different perspectives.
Yeah, so we've actually been fans of Pela for a while now. So been following and are so inspired by like how it's just like this action that everyone has. Everyone has a phone case, and we believe that like we're not perfect activists by any means, but it's just these like small actions like changing your phone case or perhaps being more sustainable, going meatless, just like taking these small steps every day and recognizing that your individual actions do translate to such a larger collective impact, even if it doesn't seem like it in small actions.
I love that. Tim, how about you?
Yeah, I've been on the internet for a while. So when Pela first came up, I was like, really attracted to that because I've always liked to kind of know about new companies, new organizations leading the front of what sustainability really means. It's just really cool on like a product side and a business side for me personally. And I think the way to really change the world is to not just like require everyone to be like 100%. You have to be an activist. You have to do this, this, and this, or you're a bad person. It's like kind of a slow funnel, like take this step, then this step. And then maybe, we can all become like better and greener people.
Totally. I think that speaks a lot to like, like what's the work that's available to you and only you as an individual? That's activism, that's impact. And I think that Pela is a really great demonstration of that. They're doing the work that's available to them through the lenses that are important to them. So I think that's kick-ass. I have a question for y'all too. How do you continue to grow your platform without compromising your ethics?
Yeah, it's very difficult, but I mean, it's not difficult. It's just listening to the most marginalized communities, listening to our community, and listening to the people who, historically have not had a voice. And that's just the key with everything that we do. Any piece of content, we want to see who's the most affected and how we can best highlight their stories.
Yeah, and just jumping on to that, I think we really, really focus on content that really has like action and has like ways for you to see this and either start a conversation or change something in your routine and just maybe hopefully shift your perspective on something that can be really impactful.
Yeah, I love it. It's about sharing and amplifying the most marginalized voices, but also taking real world action as well. That's really beautifully said. Okay, so hot question, but how do you deal with haters? Everybody.
Oh my God. It's difficult, honestly, because it's just such a divisive like space that we're in. And oftentimes people not only come for our content, but for ourselves personally and for our community and team as well. So I think it's just important to acknowledge that the work that we're doing is important and it's helping a lot of people. And for every like one hateful comment, there are like hundreds of thousands or thousands of people actually supporting our content, liking it, sharing it to their friends, and more.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. Now we're going to turn it over to some questions from our audience. Thank you so much, everyone, for throwing in your questions. Mark has a question for us all. For Impact, how do you collect all these special links for donating, etc.? And would you be interested in making short videos or expanding to YouTube possibly in the future?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think on the topic of kind of tracking impact and kind of seeing how the content that we're creating is actually translating to real world action, we're continually like integrating things into our website to just see where people are going and see how we can help people see the content go out into the world and take action. We're a fairly new team, less than a year old, so always learning and always trying to be better about really ensuring that the content we're making is translating to impact.
And about the videos, we're still figuring out where we want to go in the future. So we will keep you updated. Yeah, I don't have an answer for you yet.
I guess. Bianca is asking, how can people get involved with Impact? And also, what other impact have you created beyond just the social media platform?
Exactly, yeah. I think people can get involved. You know, the easiest step is just to follow, to engage, and to share and amplify posts that we create. And then a more like devoted person who wants to create action, to create tangible action, is to, you know, take the actions that we say, like, hey, click the link in our bio to sign this petition, call your senator, donate to this cause. I think like last month we raised over $40,000 collectively as a community for India's COVID-19 crisis. So it was like one of our first big campaigns. Thank you so much. Yeah, it was really cool and amazing to see like everyone coming together. Even people that weren't following us. I know like we saw like people donating. It was like Gigi Hadid. We're like, okay, we got Miss Gigi. It was really funny. It was really great to see that. So, you know, we're new. We're like wanting to continue to grow and help people make that impact that they want to see in the world.
I love it. And to wrap things up from both of you, can you talk a little bit more about the impact of social media and no matter the size of your platform, how you can make a difference? I think so many people viewing like this conversation right now might just have 100 followers, might just have 1,000 followers. How can we all create impact no matter the size?
Yeah, I think no matter your size, you can always start a conversation with someone. You can always provide a different perspective and tell your story, listen with empathy, and you know, take action based on the lessons that you've learned there. So it doesn't matter how big your platform is, as long as you know, go into a conversation with the intent to learn and grow and to take action in the future.
Thank you both so much. I could talk to you for literally an hour, but it's time here because this is a power hour. So we're going to take a short break with our special guest, Victoria Vera, who will be performing her new single, The Ocean. But before that, let's say goodbye to Tim and Jolene. Thank you so much for joining us.
Bye, everyone. It was a pleasure.
You.
Hey, Pela fam. My name is Victoria Vera, and I'm going to sing for you today my new single. I'm a singer-songwriter based in Boston, Massachusetts. I'm from Poland, and I'm so happy to be here and be part of this project that protects our beautiful oceans. And we should care about our environment. That's why I made this song. The ocean is about to feel connected with nature, to feel the passion and peace of our mind there, and to just find ourselves, like, to just be happy and enjoy the moment with the small things. I'm so excited to be part of this event, Project Human Nature, to protect our beautiful oceans. I'm so excited to perform my new single, The Ocean. I hope you enjoyed the song and this beautiful view. So thank you so much. I'm driving, I'm flowing through the ocean, through the ocean. I don't wanna leave you, but I have to go, I have to go. Oh, no. I'm driving, I'm flowing through the ocean, through the ocean. I don't wanna leave you, but I have to go, I have
Victoria, that was so badass. Oh my gosh, that was amazing. I love that you performed with the ocean behind you. Oh my gosh, that's so special. Thank you for joining us, Victoria, for real. It's so beautiful. All right, y'all, our final speaker is going to talk to us about finding purpose in your passion. Greg Hill is a professional athlete and the protector of places he explores, also known as Electric Greg. Find out why. Here we go.
Mountains for me is about exploring. I've explored new descents, I've explored new traverses, I've explored new summits, but I've also explored a lot about myself and my own human potential.
I'm feeling a change coming. I'm feeling a change coming.
If I didn't have any doubt, it wouldn't really have been a challenge, but I doubted the whole time. Right up until a couple hundred feet ago when I passed over my line. And now there's no more doubt, which is great. I have to figure out another challenge.
What's next? I know what my physical limits are. So now at this point, it's like, well, what else can I evolve? And it's become this evolution of how I adventure. My goal is to climb, ski, run 100 different summits without the use of fossil fuels. I can't use a snowmobile. I can't helicopter access. I can't fly to foreign lands to go on big adventures. It's more local, and it's just quite simple that way. To me, the biggest challenge of this is I want to show that it's worth trying to be better. For people to change, they have to see value in it. And if they can just see through my own social media, through my own feeds, that I'm changed, I'm a better person, and my life is more fulfilling, then it might help them change.
Greg, what's up?
Okay, this is awesome.
Your intro video is awesome. That looks gnarly and so cool. Did you get out this winter to explore anything?
Oh, I'm quite fortunate. Most of my life is about adventure. So yeah, I constantly adventure. Super lucky.
That is so awesome. And I love your goal of doing 100 different summits without fossil fuels. That is, I think it's something where it's like, yeah, that's a huge goal. But then I'm sure even on like, summit 20, summit 50, you're like, oh my gosh, I have 50 more to go. Like, tell me about it overall. How's it been so far?
Yeah, well, that challenge, I mean, I've succeeded. I think I'm at about 107 summits now. And it was just about changing the way I look at the mountains, because forever I had the big truck, the snowmobile, helicopters, and I'm a professional athlete. I have money to travel the world and create stories. And then, yeah, that was phenomenal, but it became a vehicle for change. It was like the electric car was a great idea because I wanted to prove that they worked, and I've got a dam above my house, so it's as sustainable as electricity can be. And it was pretty exciting. But then I started looking at my own life. I'd be driving and be like, cool, I'm doing this, but what else can I do? And, start just looking around my house and seeing what else I could do. I started becoming a weekday vegetarian because I knew that was a good way to change my impact. And I just started looking at different habits I could change. And some of them have worked and some of them haven't.
Thank you so much for sharing all that. I'm really curious, what do you think was that light bulb moment for you where you just decided, I have to switch things up. I have to do things differently. I have to start caring more for this planet?
Yeah, it wasn't a light bulb moment. It was a long moment. So I've lived my life passionately, setting records and just giving her. And I want everybody to live their lives as fully as possible and whatever they love, whatever their passions are. And mine have been mountains, but then I made a big mistake in Pakistan. I skied off a mountain and got caught in an avalanche. Survived with a broken leg, but it was definitely very lucky to survive. And then while I spent the 6 months or whatever it was healing on my couch, I was sitting there and I was thinking to myself, well, if I'd passed away then, what would have my kids, what would have been the legacy I left behind? And I loved it. It's about finding your true potential and pushing yourself. But then I was looking, I was like, well, what about the world? You know, I get so much back from just sunrises, sunsets, rainbows, whatever. I love nature. So why wasn't I doing anything to really protect that? And you know, I've got 2 kids, they're 14 and 15 now. And it's like, well, you know, if I'd been gone, what would they have done? Would they have recognized how important nature is? And that was the moment. It wasn't like a light bulb. It was 6 months of healing plus more. But yeah, ever since then, I've just been trying to use my voice and just help the conversation, you know, because the more we talk about it, the more it's in people's minds, then the easier it will be to change.
I love that. I mean, I love that you mentioned that the transition is really gradual. I think it's really, again, mirroring something that everyone said, which is that small steps leading to huge impact, and that we all just have to start somewhere, but that starting somewhere often looks like, you know, it's a long over a period of time. So how has been moving to electric like modes of transportation changed the way you adventure? Do you feel like you're missing out on anything?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of mountains just south of here that the only way really in is a snowmobile. And, you know, it's about 30 miles to get in there. And there's tons of adventures there and tons of things that haven't been skied. And yes, I yearn to go there, but I know that the sacrifices are worth it. And that's what I was kind of showing in that movie I made, Electric Craig, is that these changes are worth it. Yes, they're hard. And for sure, there's a lot of things I've missed out on, but what I've gained by changing is well worth what I'm losing. Yeah, and I agree with what exactly like Tim said it before. It's like we can all make little changes that are going to add up to a much greater good, and that's exactly what it is. It's like we don't know what to do, but we can each do something, and then when exactly like it's like a funnel. You do one, then you do more, and it really adds up. It's pretty.
Yeah. And Greg, when I look at you and your work too, you know, you have a lot of eyes that are on you and a lot of people that view you as a leader. So I think that your choices, people model their choices after, you know, I mean, this is kind of like really influencer logic, but I think that it's really important for all of us, no matter who we are, to know that we have impact and we have influence. And I really think it's incredible how you're choosing to use yours. And I think that's really special.
But yeah, and you feel it too. It's really, my neighbor just finally, he got an electric car and he's sending me these pictures. I'm all excited because he's got the new Ford Mach-E and it's neat seeing him because then he's going to push that idea to somebody else and just kind of percolates and it grows and grows. And yeah, I mean, one my little changes have affected his changes, and it's really fun. That's for sure. Because we've all got voices. We all affect everyone around us, and just that conversation needs to go. And if it's to 2 people, that's great because those 2 people might affect another 2, and you know, so on and so on.
Yeah. Greg, I have a confession for you. I am not an extreme athlete, believe it or not, other than like walking in heels outdoors.
That looks extreme.
But I do love the outdoors. So how do I protect the places that I play in, that I do drag in?
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is it's not extreme. It doesn't have to be extreme at all. It's just being out in nature. And one, we enjoy it so much. So start when you're out there, you know, if there's a piece of garbage on the ground, why not pick it up? Because then the next person won't see it. And, but again, it keeps coming back to that conversation. Is it's just like, yeah, you know, maybe you carpool next time, or maybe like we're now, because of COVID, we're all doing more local things. And it's really neat to see that there's adventures in your backyard that just don't require me to like travel to Norway just for a week to ski something I'll never see again or anything. But yeah, we can all just make little changes, and it doesn't have to be just because I'm extreme doesn't make my changes any more impactful. It's just the personal changes we can all make. You know, I'm sure you're making tons too. I love your platform because you are, like you said, you like once you changed into Patty, you started looking at the world differently, and that made you reanalyze everything, question everything. And that's what we need to do, because we've all been taught up till now that this is status quo and this is the way it should stay. You need your plastic case because that's what you do. But stop and reanalyze things, and all of a sudden you're like, wow, there's tons of options.
Totally. I love that you mentioned that so much. You know, I think that like, you know, we're talking a lot about sustainable choices, but I'm wondering if you can hit us with some real, like, what does it feel like, or do you ever feel guilty when you don't make a sustainable choice?
Yeah, well, eco anxiety is a thing. We all get it, and
Totally.
yeah, like again, progress over perfection. I'm never going to be perfect. There's no doubt about that. But I just trying. I set this new record on a traverse I've wanted to do for years this year, and I just accepted that I was going to have to helicopter out, and I was like, I'm going to offset that fuel and what have you. But I felt guilty about it. But at the same time, it's like, well, whatever. I'm doing the best I can here, and maybe I can't do well there occasionally, but every little bit counts. And I think that's one of the biggest things is that you can be environmentally sustainable in some ways that I can't, like I mentioned the diet, changing my diet, but that doesn't work for some people. But they could look at their investments and realize that their entire portfolio is based off fossil fuels and change that. And that'll be a bigger impact than any eating vegetarian for the rest of their life or not flying, like some people have to fly, so you fly, but then you've got another aspect of your life that you can totally change that'll be impactful. So let's not worry about being perfect. Let's just look at what each of us can do. And we've all got, like Jeremy said, we've all got different strengths, and let's focus on those and work with those, because focusing on our weaknesses isn't going to help us change.
Totally. Yeah, I like when I'm out of drag, just living my life as Win. I feel what you said to my core, because I often view that like Patty is on my shoulder being like, you should not have made that choice. But now what I view Patty as is like a cheerleader for like rooting me on for the good choices I do make, rather than critiquing me for the bad, and that keeps me motivated. That keeps me excited. And that doesn't mean I get out of jail free card, but it means that I can choose to, again, be focused on the creativity of the solutions rather than the complexity of the problem.
Yeah.
So I love that you mentioned that.
It's so nice to be part of the solution too, or at least pushing ideas that are better. We're not going to be perfect. But
Totally. Okay, we have some questions from the audience that people are so stoked to ask you. There's tons of them. So Shania is asking, how can we travel? Oh, actually, this is Haley's question. How can we travel sustainably and affordably?
That's a really tough one. I mean, once you put in an airplane, it's really tough, and you can definitely do offsets, and offsets are good afterwards. But it's choosing things that are close by that might resonate more. Like I recognize that a first descent I did in Norway that I've never seen again has no value, but an adventure up Boulder Peak over there, I can look at from here and it'll resonate for years and live. And I really do think that, doing stuff in your own backyard can be a great way. But then, yeah, once you travel the world, then there's options. Once you're there, you can look at, maybe some green hotels, or once you're there traveling, make it a bike trip. And yes, you offset your flight and you're there, but then maybe help out with the local community. There's just a lot of different options once you're there, and we just have to be open to them.
I love that. I love that we're viewing it through a lens of not only travel locally, but because we're going to travel to really thinking about the ways we can make it sustainable even when we're there. And I love that you mentioned supporting local economies too. I mean, even eating at locally owned restaurants are amazing ways to support local agriculture and local farmers, and to really put money in that environment that's going towards environmental good. So I love that you mentioned that.
Yeah, I think with tourism too, there's a lot of places now that have that eco-tourism thing, and it's maybe a little greenwashing, but at the same time, it's you're taking the better choice, and that's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we are at time for our discussion. Thank you so much, Greg. Thank you. And okay, we are nearly at the end of our Power Hour, but Greg, you're going to stick around because we are going to get to some takeaways from all of our speakers. But first, did you know that just by being here, you've helped to protect our winters? Protect Our Winters is a nonprofit organization with a passionate outdoor community. Financial support from Pela through this event will help fund Protect Our Winters' important policy initiatives in the fight to protect the places and experiences we love from climate change.
Habitat was founded on the belief that healthy skin and hair shouldn't come at the expense of our planet or those who inhabit it, hence the name Habitat. We believe that small changes to our daily routines can have large, lasting impacts on our bodies and our environment. Everything Habitat makes is vegan, zero waste, and made from scratch using local, natural ingredients. Our dream is that through compassion, empathy, and honesty, we can reimagine the products we use daily and create a waste-free future.
Well, welcome back, everyone.
We're all on stage.
We're all here. Here we are. So y'all just got a sneak peek at the Pela Vision rebrand. Make sure to keep an eye out for Sway this summer. And we are back, but not for long. If you're feeling a little information overloaded, do not worry. Same here, girl. So we thought we'd leave you with one takeaway, one action item from each of our speakers. Sound good? Cool. I can't hear you say yes at home, but I'm imagining you're saying yes. So here we go. So let's kick things off with Tim and Jolene. If you could give our audience one takeaway on how to become a leader in sustainability, what would it be?
Yeah. Honestly, we don't even see ourselves as leaders in sustainability, but we aim to uplift leaders and organizations like Pela-Case that are being really innovative in this space. So I think the best way for all of us to get involved is just listen to science, learn empathy, and act on the small things that you learn every day. So you're really, like we mentioned earlier, your small individual actions really translate into huge collective change. Big change.
Big change, yes.
That is awesome. I love those. I love act with empathy. I think that's something that's so key and often overlooked in the environmental movement. So thank you so much for mentioning that, Jolene. Greg, how about you?
I mean, if you pay attention to the media and everything, it can be really oppressive to start thinking about the environment and to wanting to care. It can be really scary because it just seems like doom. But I think with eco-anxiety, for me, the best thing has been action. It's once I started doing little things in my own life, it just makes me feel better and it makes me deal with that anxiety. Because yes, there's a lot of things that are going wrong in the world, but let's make some things right and it'll make you feel better.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. Jeremy, I'm curious to hear yours.
Yeah. Well, I think sometimes we think that there are these magical people out there who are going to solve our problems. And it makes me think when we were camping when I was a boy, we were packing up camp and my dad was picking up our garbage, but he's picking up other people's garbage. And I said, why are you picking up their garbage too? And he said, if I don't pick it up, who's going to pick it up? So that really hit home for me. And there's also a First Nation saying that we think about a lot. And it's, we are the people we've been waiting for, or you are the people we're waiting for. So the simple answer is just do it. Just start something. Find your people who you can relate to. Find someone you want to work with. Find a cause or a purpose and just do it. Just start, because we are the ones who can do it.
I love that you mentioned that, Jeremy. I feel like you just gave us the pep talk that I needed for the next month. So thank you so much for sharing that. And, you know, if I can add one in there too, I think that we have to make our action intersectional and key to our identities and to our experiences. And I think that's something that every single one of these people in this chat today do, is they really use who they are and what they're passionate about and their unique creative solutions to take action for climate, and not only for planet, but for people too. So I think it's really cool. I think that we should give a huge round of snaps to all of the speakers. I am so thankful for all of you all. And with that said, well, folks, thank you so much for joining our discussion today. Our time together will have a beautiful ripple effect because of all of you. So where do we go from here? Well, Pela is actually going to send out to all of our RSVPs today a digital booklet with the takeaways from the event and some room to start leading the way yourself. And not to mention some discount codes just for you. And in the meantime, keep on being your incredible individual badass selves, and we will see you next time. So thank you so much to each and every one of our speakers. Thank you so much to you all for joining today. Thank you to Pela for hosting this discussion. And with that, this drag queen is about ready to eat a snack, get some water, and go outside. So Thank y'all so much for joining. This has been so lovely. Thank you, speakers.
Thank you. That's awesome.
Thank you.
I just love you all.